was 15 years old, I guess. One of my classmates that resided in the same community as me wanted me to come over to his place and visit. And I was like, okay. Truth be told, this guy was crushing on me and stuff, and it was even. Hey guys, good day and welcome to the channel again. It's me, Anna Arpa, your spiritual girls tutor, and today's video is one of a kind because everyone have a past, and I want to share something very crucial, very important for you in this video, especially if you're still on marriage. Especially, I have more soft spots for every single girl and boy out there. So what is it all about? You must have seen it from the thumbnail or from the title. Sharing experience about my past life and exactly um how I in this channel I've been talking so much about retaining your virginity, keeping it until you get married, because it is something that we all should owe. It's an asset. In fact, many times I mentioned in my video that virginity is the groom price that the bride pays over to the groom, because it's the groom who pays the bride price. So we brides, we should be able to pay the groom price. I said stuffs like that, paying with your virginity. So my past, I did some crazy things. I went too far many times, and I will just share, probably out of ignorance, out of nothing. You just mislead yourself or allow people to mislead you. But thank God we came out of all of them, and I'm sharing one of it with you in today's video. And what is it? Okay, so it all started some years ago. I think how old was I? I was 15 years old, I guess. 15. Let's say 16. Okay, fine. That was February, right? So I was 16 years old, done with high school. And in Nigeria, women done with secondary school. So it was this Valentine's Day, and one of my classmates that resided in the same community as me wanted me to come over to his place and visit. And I was like, okay. Truth be told, this guy was crushing on me and stuff, and he was even asking me out. But I knew I wasn't ready for any stuff like that. And yes, I told him I wasn't ready, and I didn't want to do any stuff like that, any kind of dating or friendship or any stuff like that. But if you had to say friends, yeah, we were friends and we were that good. So what he just said, okay, I know come over to my place? And I was like, okay, that's no big deal. And hi, right. So that's what I'm drawing us to. Some things we did when we were younger, but not really proud of. So yeah, at the age of 16, yeah, I went out to see a guy. That was the first time in my life, and that was the farthest I ever went. That was for the first time. So I went to his place, but it's so unfortunate. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell any of my siblings or parents where I was going. I just told them I was going out, and they were like, "I'm not going out. This is unlike you." I didn't care. I just thought I was just going out. I was going to see a friend, in fact, and all of that. And because I had nothing in mind, whether or not I wasn't having any negative picture of my going out, so I just went out. I went to his place and I called and I was like, okay, I'm at your place. And he was like, okay, it's coming. And he came, and he lived in a very big home, where a big house even, and he had his own room. And that house, that day, people were not around. He just told me to stay in his room while he just get him stuffs, and he was going to come. I was like, okay. So to entertain me, in order for me not to feel idle, he gave me a book to read and also gave me some pictures of him and his family to view. But you can imagine, I said I was I was ignorant, I was naive. I don't know, I'm just using those words. Maybe you can understand the kind of a person I was. I was innocent. I barely had any, I wasn't having another picture of what I was doing or where I was apart from what was going on. So he gave me this book to read, and the title of the book was "How to Seduce," stuff like that. And I was like, "What shit of a book? I'm not reading this." So I just put that one away. But he wasn't around. He dropped the stuffs and he left. So I was with a book, and I was like, "No, this book is not for me." Especially the house we were, there were no other person. The house was big, and almost every family member wasn't around. So I was like, "No, I'm not gonna read this book. No, no, no." So I kept on watching the pictures, and unfortunately for me, sleep just came over me from nowhere. I was just sleeping. I couldn't help it, like I was drugged. But truth be told, he hadn't given me any drink nor food. But I was just feeling constantly sleepy. And I was sleeping every second. I was sleeping weak because I was like, if I keep falling asleep, if anything wanted to happen, it probably would just happen without my notice or stop. So I was trying to be vigilant. You know, the Bible says, let's all be vigilant. We should watch. So I was trying to take custody of my being there and all of that. And then it finally came. But when it came to, I was still sleeping. It just woke. In fact, I was too alert, and I woke up. And he ordered for Indomie from the Indomie shop, cooked with some bottle of drinks, and he said, "Okay, let's eat." I was like, "God, I know that there shouldn't be anything in this food, but I'm just gonna eat it." So I ate the food, we ate together, and glory be to God, some kids came around, some neighbors, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I really do not know what is in this guy's mind, but I know this is not a nice thing to be in his home with him alone. And this was someone that was exposed. Imagine even having such a huge book like how to seduce, stuff like that in his bed. So I was like, oh God, please. So when these kids came, I made sure they stayed. When we ate, to some point I was like, okay, no, I'm full. I don't want to eat again. So I called the kid and gave the kid the food, even the drink too. I add a little sip, and I gave the child the old drink, just to make sure if anything was gonna happen, the child was gonna be the preventive measure, the one to prevent any stuff like that. And then after the old food stuff, I was like, okay, it's getting late. Can I go home now? And then he was like, okay, no problem, you can. Let me just see you off. And then he called the bike to bring. So when we got out of the house, and I was about to board on the bike, met another of our schoolmates, and it was like, and now what are you doing here? You came to visit this guy? Do you know who this spoiled brat is? So you see, guys, no matter how young or old that person may be, if the person is bad, the person is bad. If the person can lure you into any sort of evil, the person would. So that's the long story. That's the old thing. So when I got only I knew exactly what I was into, and I was like, God, how dare me? What if anything happened? What if anything happened? Though he was my classmate and we are of close age range, but what if anything happened? I wouldn't have forgotten it. And even almost forever, whenever I remember the scenario of how far I let myself go, calling it a visit alone, no, guys, I wasn't proud of that. I wasn't proud of that. Even if it was my classmate and I wanted to visit him, I could have gone with a sibling or gone with another friend, just to make sure I wasn't in his room alone, with him alone, in the house and no one else was there. So what am I trying to tell always growing up is that whenever you're going to visit someone or see someone, it shouldn't be in a secluded environment. especially in the house. You can meet by walking on the way, you can meet by meeting at a playground or church place, but in the house, I discourage the fact because if anything would have happened, I tell you, it would have been that day. So I, I was always regretting ever doing that. So imagine if something had happened, wouldn't that have been even more tougher for me? So that was the very first experience I had, and glory be to God, nothing happened. Nothing happened. I was 16. Naiveness, stubbornness, I know it all, cluelessness, ignorance, call it whatever. Many people have lost their virginities, but for me, at that moment, God just saved me. The guy was, I don't know how bad it was, but the badness did not get him to do anything with me that day, and that was my luck. And I couldn't forget it. So that was the first and the closest I had to. When I came home to, I was feeling guilty, and I was like, oh God, only God saved you. And I remember I was wearing a white skirt. So if anything had happened, like they say, when you lose your virginity, you kind of bleed, then my skirt would have been soiled. And what would I have done? Would I have gotten him to watch it quickly for me to? Oh my God. And guys, even my mom is not aware of this story I'm telling you. So when parents think they are watching over their children, and then just 1 minute they take their eyes off, you don't know what is happening to your kids. So if you are that kid, if you're that mom, I pray God is going to see us through like He saw me through. So I'm going to tell you other silly ones like that. But until you know the truth, you've got to set yourself free. Until you know the truth, you have to start practicing the truth. So you're not going to become a victim. Like God delivered me that very first time. So thank you guys for watching my video. Thank you for watching and listening to this first story. But I said I wasn't proud of it. And so I don't want anyone, you watching me, especially if you still have your virginity intact, I do not want you to go that way that I went. Learn from it and keep away from stuffs like going to visit in a house, in a room, especially for those on campus. Yes, some of us live in self-contained and all of that. Do not visit. Girls do not visit the guy. Guys do not visit the ladies alone. I mean alone. Your roommate is not around and you want to allow the guy to come. Oh my God, there's so many things, and just these little ways many have lost it. I remember a story I was told from the horse's mouth. Yeah, the guy was stranded and he was like, please, can I spend the night in your place? And that night what happened? He took her virginity. So do not allow the guy to come. Don't even, because stuffs like this, they say, can I know your place? Or I really want you to know my place. It's not important. The only person you should bring to your home is Jesus. Bring in Jesus to your home. But do not say he wants to know my place. He's been pressuring to know my place. Or he's been pressuring that I know his place. It's not important. It will cost you. But thank God it didn't cost me anything. So this is my little advice. Thank you, and anticipate for the next storyline that I'll be sharing. Bye. See you in my next video.